Do you want to know the most challenging belief that I ever woke up from forcibly? I used to think that people would only believe something if it was true. And therefore, everything that I believed was true. I believed it was impossible to latch onto something as true if there was any falsehood in it. Now, did I believe that other people could be duped? Yes. Did I believe that I was ever duped? No. No. Why? Because I had this unshakable idea that things could only be an indelible part of your consciousness if there was truth in them, if they were actually true. And that's because as a psychic with sky-high discernment, I can feel when things are bullshit like immediately, which is why, despite being born and raised lifelong conditioning in the Mormon church, I never believed it. So imagine the shock of my life when one day, several years into my spiritual journey, when I was knee-deep in New Age spiritual communities and concepts, I realized this is just another religion and most of this is bullshit. And that was a much harder awakening than leaving Mormonism ever was. It's not because my beliefs suddenly weren't true. It's that I realized that you can believe anything. And the harder you believe in it, the more true it becomes to you, regardless of whether or not there's any factual truth to it. Now, when we're looking at something like MAGA or some weird ass cult, it's easy to look from afar and be like, oh yeah, that's crazy. How could anyone believe that? Those fools. But when you realize that there is no human that is immune to this, because being able to choose your beliefs is part of the earth game, that is free will. Y'all, I did not recover from this belief for months, a year, I don't know. It sent me into the most intense belief spiral, the mostest. And that's because it was coinciding with a really challenging period I was going through with my child. That's really how all of this happened, as we were in the midst of getting her an autism diagnosis. That part was not challenging. That part was fine. I knew that getting her a diagnosis would make it easier for us to get more specialized help for her. But what this revealed is that so many of my philosophies as a healer, the foundational truths I built my healing philosophies on, were ableist. They were not true. They were not real. And in fact, they were kind of hurtful. They were doing a lot of harm to people who actually had very serious issues. Now, when I say that rocked me, that rocked me. Rocked my damn world. That's a whole story for another time. In fact, that's really important to get into. I will circle back to this. Because what this did, I stopped in my tracks. I quit my work. I stopped doing my work as a business because I was like, what else have I believed that isn't true, that I've then been foisting onto other people that might have been doing them harm? Yeah. So not only did I have that to contend with, but realizing that my little brain could latch onto any belief, even if there was nothing true in it, was shocking. I started to think that, what if everything I believe will eventually crumble? What if any belief I've ever had, any truth that I found safety in, what if eventually it was all a matter of time and they were all going to fall out, just like this truth had fallen out? It was a truly devastating time. I was in an absolute free fall because I didn't know if I could ever trust anything again. I didn't know if I could ever believe anything again. If you think, I mean, this is like relationship betrayal. I keep using the example. If you suddenly find out that your spouse of 30 years has been cheating on you when you thought you had this great relationship, like that kind of new reality blows your fucking mind and you can barely cope with that. What if everything I believed is a lie? That's hard. So in my previous video where I'm like, hey, you can just stop believing stuff, like, yeah, but also sometimes when you stop believing something, it rocks your damn world. And all this, by the way, is why MAGAs aren't waking up the way we want them to. Because it's not just the belief that Trump is a light worker. It's not just the outlandish beliefs that need to crumble. It's not the surface stuff that obviously he's a con man, obviously he's a felon. It's not that. It's that when one belief crumbles, it sets the tower in motion. Any other belief that is related to it, that is built upon it, that is part of this belief little nest, a system, it's a system. When one belief crumbles, the rest are now up for debate, and it is psychologically shattering. Y'all see me out here so healthy now. I am. That's because I faced this shit But when I faced it, I was not healthy. Belief work at its core, when you're getting into core beliefs, and not just like core beliefs about like self-identity, but like how the world works. Like, God will bless you if you're a good person. That's akin to white supremacy. People believe I am having a good life because God has blessed me, never questioning that maybe you have a good life because we're built on a system of white supremacy and you happen to be white with white privilege and you've had a lot of things that were easier for you, or your family has generational wealth because they're white. Like, all these cascading beliefs, they're so intertwined with cosmological belief, spiritual belief, like metaphysical, mystical, who am I and what is God? These beliefs are all tangled up. And that's why you can't just like wake up out of MAGA or wake up out of religion, because when you pull it one belief, the whole thing starts to just fall apart. But that's why I say, like, this is what Ascension is. And this is why we have to that's why the systems are going to fall. You've heard me talk about all these systems that are going to start falling. This is what's going to happen as people start to have their awakening. And that's, I hate it, but like, that is the benefit of this stupid orange man doing what he's doing, is he's showing the world, this is our shadow America. This is what's buried underneath or right out under our noses. And so he's forcing people to reckon with their beliefs. And for many people, it might be easy to see through him, but it is not easy to see through any of the other belief systems that are akin to what is going on now. So changing a belief is easy in theory, but it can be incredibly challenging when it gets into the very core psychological underpinnings of our entire self. So if it's hard for you, if you're like, why is shadow work easy for other people and I'm a hot mess? Yeah, it is hard. It's very hard. You're not alone in that, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it. Because when you get out of the duality, get out of the limitation, your world becomes limitless and you will get to have expansion and feel incredible in your life. And then as a nation, as we do this, then what becomes possible? Then what becomes possible? We as a nation, as a human family, will become unlimited.